The antique bookstore, Inkwell's echo, held the scent of aged paper and forgotten tales. Elara, a wisp of auburn hair and honeyed eyes, was lost amidst towering shelves, her fingers tracing the worn spines. A shadow fell, not of a bookshelf, but of a man. Damien. He leaned against a shelf, a predator in human form, his gaze dark and consuming. Lost, little dove? His voice, a low velvet rumble, sent a shiver down her spine. Browsing, she managed, her voice barely a whisper. A dangerous pursuit, he murmured, his eyes locking onto hers. Words have a way of binding. Perhaps that's their allure, she replied, a flicker of defiance. Damien, he introduced, his eyes never leaving hers. And you are? Elara. Elara, he repeated, the name a dark caress. A name as beautiful as you. Unease coiled in her stomach. I should go. Must you? He asked, his voice laced with a possessiveness that made her breath catch. Elara fled, the weight of his gaze burning into her back. Days blurred into a chilling awareness. She was being watched. A shadow at the periphery, a car that lingered, a scent of sandalwood and something primal. Paranoia, she told herself, but the feeling intensified. One evening, walking home from the cafe, the streetlights flickered, casting distorted shadows. Elara, a voice whispered from the darkness. Damien stood in the shadows, his eyes gleaming like a predator's. Damien? What are you doing here? Waiting, he said, stepping into the light. I've been watching you. Admiring your innocence, your beauty. You've been watching me, she asked, her voice trembling. Every move, he confirmed, his eyes burning into hers. You're mine, Elara. You simply don't know it yet. He closed the distance, his hand cupping her cheek, his touch cold and possessive. Don't be afraid, he murmured, his voice a dark caress. I won't hurt you. Unless you force my hand. He leaned in, his lips brushing her ear. You're mine, Elara. Always. He vanished, leaving her trembling in the darkness. Damien became a constant, a shadow that moved with her. Orchids, dark and exotic, filled her apartment, accompanied by verses of possessive poetry. One rainy afternoon, she found him in her apartment, a fire blazing. How did you get in? She asked, her voice shaking. I have my ways, he said, his eyes gleaming in the firelight. I thought you needed company. He poured her wine, his movements fluid. You're scaring me, she whispered. Fear is a delicious emotion, he murmured, his eyes fixed on hers. It heightens the senses. He moved closer, his hand tracing her jaw. You're so beautiful, so untouched. I can't bear the thought of another's touch. He kissed her, a deep, possessive kiss that stole her breath. Elara tried to resist, but his touch was a dark, addictive drug. You're mine, Elara, he whispered, his eyes dark with desire. Every inch of you. At an art gallery opening, Elara was with Liam, a kind friend. Damien watched. As Liam walked her home, Damien emerged from the shadows, his eyes blazing. Who is this? He demanded, his voice a low growl. Damien, this is Liam, Elara said, her voice trembling. He's a friend. A friend who touches you? Damien hissed, his eyes narrowing. Who looks at you with lust? He grabbed Liam, his grip like iron. She's mine. You think you can have her? He shoved Liam away, the other man stumbling. Damien turned to Elara, his eyes dark. You belong to me, he said, his voice a dangerous whisper. Only me. He pulled her into his arms, his grip bruising. You're mine, Elara. No one else. The fear, the constant pressure, the dark, seductive pull of Damien's obsession began to wear Elara down. She found herself drawn to him, to the dark intensity of his gaze, the possessive heat of his touch. She was caught in his web, a moth drawn to a deadly flame. One night, he took her to his penthouse apartment, a luxurious space overlooking the city lights. The air was thick with the scent of sandalwood and expensive wine. He led her to the bedroom, a dark, opulent space with a large four-poster bed draped in black silk. "You're so beautiful, Alara," he murmured, his voice thick with desire. "Like a dark angel, fallen from grace." He undressed her slowly, his eyes tracing every curve of her body. His touch was reverent, possessive, like he was claiming her as his own. He kissed her, a deep, passionate kiss that stole her breath away. Alara surrendered to the feeling, to the dark, intoxicating pull of his obsession. He made love to her, slow and possessive, his touch both tender and demanding. Alara cried out, her voice a mix of pain and pleasure. Afterward, he held her close, his arms wrapped tightly around her. "You're mine, Alara," he whispered, his voice a low rumble against her ear. "And I'll never let you go." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.